Welcome back to Volition Recording Studios. This is Derek here. I hope you're all doing well. So welcome to my music production from ground up series. So this whole video series is designed to help those of you out there that are on the stage or in the stage or close to the stage of wanting to release your music, but you're in that position where you're deciding if it's a good idea to either hire a studio or to either self-produce your single EP or album. Whatever the case may be, this video series is designed to help you guys be prepared in terms of the mindset, things to consider, and also some how-tos. So we'll have a full rundown of how to produce your record from beginning to end, and you'll find that as this video series continues to go on. So for today's video, which is the first part of 5, I believe, this video will get you started in the things of what you will need to self-produce, some pros and cons. We'll go over some things that you should consider before even contacting your first studio to hire them, as that this will help you decide and make sure that you have a successful project. Alright, so we get into one of the first most important things before even considering to hire a studio is, what is the end goal of your project? Are you trying to sound the best you are? Do you want to be a top charting musician or artist? Or is your goal to simply have your music out as best produced as possible? So it really doesn't matter what goal you go for, but the most important part is, at the end of the day, you want to know which one works best for you. These 3 factors will really help identify which of the 2 paths will work the best for you. So starting with time, which is kind of the most obvious one, and the second one being budget, how much can you spend, and the third is how much work do you want to put into your project. So these 3 factors will really help you decide which one works the best for you at your current situation, as that you can balance all 3 and get the best of these 3 factors, or you simply value one of these factors more than the other. So I'm going to go over what is important about each of these factors in helping you make your decision. We're going to start with time, which is kind of the most obvious one. It is in a really weird state where if you do choose to hire a studio, your budget is not only increased, but also time is very important, as that if you're planning to get a studio to record your work, you're gonna have to be really careful with your time, as that studio time is money and it's already paid for. So it really depends on which one you value the most at the end of the day. So if you do value time a lot, you will most likely want to hire someone or some type of service that can help alleviate some of that work. But then you do have to be prepared to increase your budget if you do value time. And then we get into kind of like the next one is if you value budget the most out of the 3 factors. So if you value budget, that means that you're going to increase your time and work. What that means is, let's just say you want to produce your own music project. So the thing is, yes, you can do it for very little and barely anything, but then that also means you're going to drive up your time and your work a lot, because you're going to mostly be doing this yourself, or if you have a partner, or if you're in a band, it doesn't matter what it is. The time and work is driven up because you guys probably had to learn how to mic up something, learn how to mix, know how to master, maybe if you're going to go all the way to record, to mix, to master yourselves. So there are drawbacks, and it really depends on which of the 3 factors you value the most between time, work, and budget. Let's just say if you really like doing the work. So if you like doing the work, that means that you're going to have to increase the time as well. So when you do consider to make your decision to either hire a studio or self-produce, I will definitely really evaluate which of the 3 factors are the most important to you. We're going to head over to some options, some pros and cons for either of those decisions you make. So if you're planning to do the self-produce route, the pros are obviously there's more flexibility. The budget is way lower, and also you can still get a really good quality out of the technology from today, like just getting studio quality recordings and being able to mix and master at your own home or on your laptop or whatever device you're using is very easy and very accessible to do. So that's definitely the pros of self-producing it. So the cons obviously will be, for when it comes to self-produced, is obviously the time and the work, and also that the sound quality might not necessarily be what you're looking for. So again, you're gonna have to spend a lot of time and doing a lot of research to see how you can get the best recorded sound quality. So that's kind of a minor con there, is that you do have to spend a lot of time to polish up your engineering skills a little bit, or just simply finding out how to do something. Or when it comes to studio, let's just say if you do consider to hire a studio, so obviously the pros are just as much. You do get a better sound quality because you're hiring essentially the people that are skilled in the industry and that they know what they're doing. So you're getting the best quality out of the environment, the equipment, and then just the knowledge of the staff and the facility to get the best quality. And pretty much the work is you just do what your role is. It's just more one-sided instead of a more self-produced route where you generally have to do multiple skills or work on multiple sides of it. So at least for this, you just need to focus on just doing one thing and one thing only. And the pretty much the cons for it is obvious, is that the budget will drive itself up, and it really depends on which studio you're hiring for, as that you do definitely need to do your research to figure out what they cover and what they don't, or if they're charged separately, or is there a full package. So those are also factors. And another major one that I almost forgot to mention is obviously the studio time. If you're planning to hire a studio, your every second makes a difference. So you're going to be more of a time crunch, and it's not as flexible as you think. So that's probably the major drawback when it comes to hiring a studio, is just the time. It's a crunch. And I've been there where I produce a record, and honestly, it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of things that can happen during recording time that you won't think it's quite a big issue. On paper, it doesn't sound so bad, but in reality, it's actually quite detrimental, and it wastes so much time. There was a recording studio session I did when I was back in audio school, where I was recording a artist, and there was just issue after issue, technology issue. There's also human error, where when you come to set up something, let's just say you plugged it into the wrong end, or you turn down the volume. Multiple things like that can happen, or simply the artist is missing something, or they need to go back and get something. There's just a lot of things that can get in the way and waste so much time during recording process. And then studio time is one after another. After one recording session is done, it's the next one, and you probably won't get your next booking until maybe a week or a month down the road, depending on the studio. So those are the pros and cons when it comes to either path you choose, but it really just depends on which one you value the most: time, budget, and work, and which one works in your favor the best. So the one I'm gonna have that's gonna pop up right now is a quick rundown of what exactly you need, just bare minimum requirements. So I'm gonna put it up right now. All right, so those are my recommendations, and I would like to point this out, is that out of the 4 or the 5 equipment that I mentioned for getting started, I will recommend at the very least your headphones is at least the Sony MDRs, or the one I have on the screen earlier, as that you want to make sure that your headphones is as flat as possible. And the cool thing about that headset, or that headphones, I don't know why I'm calling it a headset, is that it's very flat. And most headphones out there, doesn't matter what company, what brand it is, it could be a $5,000 headphones or $200, it doesn't matter. But I want to get down to is that headphones are EQ'd and designed a specific way to enhance certain sounds. So let's just say, for example, you listen to rock music and you're using maybe Beats headphones. So I'll say the only issue with that is that generally how the Beats headphones are designed or specifically focus on is that their headphones prioritize the lower end, so kind of where your bass and your kick drum area is. So they will heighten that up, and whereas everything else will kind of come down. So I won't recommend using those headphones, and that's kind of why it's very important to get a very flat response headphones, as that they'll give you an accurate sound of what you're recording and what your mix actually does sound like. So you're not actually getting fooled by the headphones EQing and the design of the headphones, as that each headphone manufacturer focuses on specific sounds. So those are the equipments I will recommend and that you can get. There are a lot more out there, and I'm just bringing up obviously the ones that are probably the best in terms of sound quality. And again, they all do the same thing. There's no one that's outdoes something. You can probably notice there might be a sound quality difference, which is probably pretty clear for certain products, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much. So I'm gonna have on screen right now, so 5 things you should have as your checklist, and we're gonna go over them right now. All right, now let's get into the checklist in detail. So you should have your top 3 picks for your studios to hire, and you don't want too many options, as that's just gonna waste more time and cause more stress and more overthinking than you need. So when it comes to these top 3 studios, you should have a check box for each of them, which is the same 4 to 5 that I'm gonna have on list. I hope I have it right, but you want to go over each one and see which out of the 3 that has the most check boxes. All right, so I know this was kind of a long video, and I feel like this is probably the most important part. There are obviously more coming down the road. The next few videos will help you guys with when it comes to the more technical side of things, but I feel like this video is probably the most important foundation in helping you getting on the right track to getting the best out of your situation or however you're going to produce your music. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video, the first part of a few, and if you like what you saw today, please consider to subscribe to the channel for more content like this and more content on audio and music stuff in general, especially more production stuff because I'm in that field. All right, guys, I'll see you guys next time.